From the After 9 podcast studios, this is After 9 with Scott and Kat.
Hey now.
Hello, friends. Happy Monday. Hello. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good.
Big NYC. Oh, wait. And scratch the C part. Big NY trip.
I was in Utica, New York. Let me tell you a couple of things about New York while we're doing this. Number one, I checked my Easy Pass account. Easy Pass is the U.S. or New York State equivalent of the 407. And to go from where I got on the I-90 in Buffalo to Utica, New York, which is between Albany and Syracuse. It's a long way. It's about 3 hours, 300 kilometers. $21.
Oh.
For comparative purposes, you could take the 407 for about 100 kilometers and get a bill for $70.
Oh, it's expensive. Yeah.
It is ridiculous how much we're paying in tolls. Does anybody at Queen's Park care? I know that we leased the 407 out to this conglomerate from Spain or whatever. We must have some triggers in that contract that say you can't raise rates to an extortionate amount like you have. We must have some sort of a recall clause where we can say, you know what, this isn't working for us anymore, so here's a bunch of money and you guys piss off. We got to find a way to get this highway back, Kat, because they're robbing Ontarians.
And the traffic's just getting worse and worse and worse while it's happening, too.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a proposal, and we've talked about it before, get the trucks off the 401, move them up to the 407. That alone would help gridlock going across the top of Toronto.
It really would.
Sure, trucks take a lot longer to start and stop than a car does. So, yeah, in bumper-to-bumper traffic, if there were no trucks, then in theory, things should go a lot faster. We got to figure it out. There's no way we can allow this company to continue running our express toll route. I get that we needed the money back in the 90s, but it's a different situation now, and apparently we can just print endless amounts of money, so just give them whatever they want and get the highway back. I'm kidding. I don't want us to print more money. How was your weekend, Kat?
Weekend was good. For the most part, pretty chill. I went to go see Beetlejuice.
Finally.
It was good, but in case you want my review on it, it's very on brand for Tim Burton is how I've been saying it.
Weird.
If you liked, exactly. He's something else. Like some of the stuff that got brought up too, it was like, wow, that's different. But anyway, if you like the original Beetlejuice, you're going to love it. There's no question about it. It wasn't too long, but I think that's good. If it had gone on any longer, maybe it would have been one of those, they could have made it a little shorter. Nonetheless, good. I'm going to say it's a solid, really good movie. It was number one again from over the weekend. And I did go to the Hoedown, by the way.
Oh, you did?
Which was interesting. I didn't stay too long at the Hoedown, but it was at the St. Jacobs Market. They do this Hoedown. I guess they do it every year. It's the second or third year they've done it. First time for me anyway. And my kid was hungry, so I was like, okay, cool. I'll get you like some food. And then there was the usual stuff that they had there. And she decided she wanted to try a churro dog. And I just thought this was a churro on a stick. It's actually like a hot dog with a churro around it.
Oh.
Oh, no.
That's not
I was
the
like,
same
you're
thing.
not going to feel good after this. And she didn't feel great after it. She ate it. She was like, I don't think I would do that again, Mom. I was like, good call. But yeah, and then in between there, just, getting organized in life in general.
One more thing I want to mention about New York State is the amount of homeless people and addicts that are running around. I thought it was bad in certain cities in Ontario. New York, it's even worse.
Really?
Rome, New York is where I ended up staying because it was close to Utica, but without the crazy hotel prices. And yeah, Kat, it was messed up. It reminded me a lot of Kelowna. Kelowna's a beautiful city, but just overrun by homeless people and addicts. And it seems like that part of New York is the same way. Scary stuff.
You know what's so crazy is like it's changing rapidly. We all know because we see the economy, we see the numbers, we know it's not going well in general. So of course with that comes all of this happening more and more, it seems. But it makes me so sad when you think about those areas that really are beautiful. And then it's when people trash it that gets me. You know what I mean? Like, we got to be able to figure this out in some of these cities. So I hear you. I didn't know it was, you learn about this though. Unless you talk to people, they're not going to promote it as part of their travel plan. Like, come here and see all the garbage and all the people peeing in the streets.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to tell you that. So unless you hear it from people like you who've seen these places, you don't realize how bad it gets.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk right now about immigration. And just this weekend, our immigration minister says, I think we waited too long to turn off the tap. I think we let in too many before we realized that's too many. I don't know that that was an accident. I don't know why we brought in these people in the first place. And when I say these people, I do not mean to be disrespectful to the immigrants, but surely somebody must have looked around and raised a hand in the cabinet meeting or the caucus meeting and said, hey, before we bring 1 million people here, do we have homes for them to live in?
Yes, and that is key. Jobs for them to go to.
And they don't.
Yeah.
Unemployment is getting scary, Kat.
It's
I've talked to a few people recently who have either been told you're on notice or been told get ready because cuts are coming.
At regular, like normal times, getting an entry-level part-time position, let's say even, pretty easy, right? You'd say? Like you put your resume around a few places, 1 out of 5 of them is going to give you an interview at least. Apparently, it's just impossible now. So I feel for those who are just looking to get a job and really want to get in there. And it's not really at the fault of yourself. You are not the problem. It's the fact that we have too many people looking at the same time.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Today is a big day. It is September the 23rd. Does that date ring a bell for you? September the 23rd. It's something we talked about around this time last year.
Oh, no. I'm not sure what it is.
The TikTok time traveler.
God, this fucking guy again.
The TikTok time traveler, as he calls himself, had predicted that September the 23rd, 2024, would be the year we established contact with alien life.
And look, there's nothing wrong with predicting stuff regarding aliens, but anybody could have predicted that this stuff's going to happen. This TikTok time traveler, though, correct me if I'm wrong, but has been incorrect in several predictions.
Some were right, some were wrong. Yeah.
I think most of them were wrong.
I think they were mainly wrong.
Yeah.
When he gives out a specific date, that gives me a little bit of hope. Like, oh, I mean, I don't think time travel's real, but I don't know what I don't know. So he says he's from the future. Mm-hmm. If he's going to give out a specific date, then I have no reason to not believe him, unless the information turns out to be wrong. So today is the day the TikTok time traveler says we're going to receive a communication from deep space that will have originated from aliens.
Who gets that message, by the way? Is that like a NASA thing? Is that like an Elon thing? What is that?
I don't know, because we don't exactly have a front desk and somebody answering the phones for Earth. So I don't know who they reach out to. Could it be an individual person?
Yeah.
Just a signal toward the Earth that we happen to pick up? I guess NASA would be among the first to realize, oh, wow, somebody's trying to talk to us from deep space. Now, if you go by what the TikTok time traveler says, today is the day they make contact. It won't be long from now that they invade. And apparently they want whatever it is that they want here on Earth. Now, we're going to win that battle, but it will come at a great cost. And then we have to rebuild the Earth. That's what they say. He
Wow,
says.
that escalates quickly, TikTok time traveler.
No kidding, right?
All right. Okay. I always wonder with that account, because I think that account actually has some decent followers, doesn't it? The TikTok time traveler?
Almost
Is
a
it?
million.
Like, at a certain point, do people reach out to the TikTok time traveler and be like, yo, you want to do an endorsement deal? Because that's usually how it works.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, you want to be an influencer, do you?
Because you'll find out real quick who that actually is if you do. I'm just saying.
Do you have any say in this? Can you just phone like John TikTok and say, why don't we axe this guy and get him off the platform?
Well, first
He's
of all,
pissing everybody
his
off.
name is not John. He's a lovely fellow, but his name is definitely not John. I don't think so. No, I think that you're allowed to put whatever you want, and people can believe it or choose to not believe it.
I don't know if we would know. If today, maybe he's right. Maybe we'll know in the future that, yeah, it was September 23rd that the aliens reached out to us. I don't know if NASA's going to be running on to the 6 o'clock news to say, guess what just came in? I think they'd sit on it for a while and investigate it and try and figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, come on. We all know that this is such bull. Like, if there was actually a person here that came from the future, wouldn't they go to all the right places? They're not going to go to TikTok and make an account. That's just not going to happen. I'm going to be like, I'll just sign up for TikTok. Anyway, it's silly, but hey, if you have fun with it, go, give her. It's not for me.
Couple of things before we get to, we're going to talk about Diddy.
Of course we are.
You went down the rabbit hole this weekend?
Huge.
So did I.
Huge rabbit hole.
Steve Harvey's a piece of... Okay, anyway, we'll get to that coming up. And I told you, by the way.
Allegedly.
I told you. Before we do, a couple of quick things here. Number one, this is a story from Barstool. Apparently, an increasing number of adults are becoming more and more comfortable admitting that they struggle with something that comes very naturally to the rest of us. There's a lot of adults who can't tell left from right instinctively.
Really?
That can't tell the direction left or right. So this is something that most people, I thought, just knew. There are some hacks. We'll get to that in a second. But it started off with a woman on TikTok, and she admitted, well, sometimes I mess it up. I don't really understand left and right. I get them wrong sometimes. Then somebody else in the comments added in, they sometimes struggle with up and down. They have to actually think, wait, down, up. Okay. It's amazing how many adults in public have been willing to admit now, since one person did, they don't really get it left and right.
Wow. It is surprising. But at the same time, when you think about the fact that in language we have like a dyslexia barrier, a lot of people have it, then how could that not be the case for I don't know, for navigation? I'm not good with navigation in general, though. Is that a thing?
What do you mean by,
Northwest, east, south. That thing throws me. Like you could say south of us. I'd have to really think about what's south of us.
Okay, Ontario's a little misleading to be doing the north, east, west, and south thing because we're not exactly perfectly east, north, west, and south in Ontario. It's an odd-shaped province because of all the lakes. Generally speaking, though, I think you know that south is America, north, Santa, east,
Obviously.
Europe, west, Russia. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Sure, yeah. But I mean, just
in very broad terms.
Sure. But even if you said, like, you got to go make sure that you're heading westbound on a street. Like, I understand 401, 403, whatever. That's no problem. But sometimes if you tell me directionally, hey, on this street, you're going, make sure that you're heading west, right? I would be like, I have to stop and think where the 401 is running and make sure I'm running in the same direction as the westbound 401. And that's when it'll key in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So,
but that said, I mean, left and right, yeah, that's easy peasy.
hold up your hands, everyone. Make your thumbs touch each other. Hold up your hands.
Yep.
Make your thumbs touch each other.
Let's do this trick. They still teach this sometimes in school, by the way.
You'll notice that the hand on the left makes an L when you do that, and that's how you can tell which one is left.
Boom, just like that.
I didn't think I'd have to give out that hack today, but here we are. A couple other headlines. There was a wild crash in Milton on Friday night. 8 vehicles involved. A car went through an intersection and hit 4 of them. Then it crossed the center median and hit 4 more as it was coming to a rest.
Scary stuff.
Isn't that wild? By the way, it was a fatal accident. One of the people who got hit just sitting at a light, and a car comes flying through the intersection and killed them. Crazy stuff. In Kitchener this weekend, there was a hit-and-run accident on Saturday night. The person who got hit, a 52-year-old, had to be rushed to Hamilton General for trauma care. The driver fled the scene, but then turned himself into police the next day. He was charged with fail to remain, resulting in bodily harm, and careless driving causing bodily harm. Now, I don't know the circumstances of this story. I only know the synopsis that the police sent us. But I'm going to say it again. If you flee the scene of an accident, I can only assume you did it because you were a drunk driver. And you didn't want to get charged with impaired.
It's something that makes you look even more guilty than you were initially, I think. Those who refuse breathalyzers, which I don't think you can't really do that here, can you?
It's a criminal charge to refuse a breathalyzer.
It's a criminal charge here, so it's a little different. But when we were talking about the Justin Timberlake situation, I felt the same way. It's one of those things you're guilty you're associating yourself with guilt doing that. I wonder how many people come back and truly just feel guilty, and that's the reason why they go to the police the next day, for example, say, oh yeah, it was me, I did it, I'm gonna get busted eventually, whatever. It's so hard for the cops to not be like, are you sure you weren't high or drunk or something? I'm certain.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the only reason someone would do it. The amount of you have a serious lack of, that's a better way to put it, serious lack of class, decency, and humanity. If you've just possibly killed someone and leave them there injured, laying on the street to die. If you do that, I think there should be another charge in the criminal code for fleeing the scene. It's almost like it should be a reverse. Like if you flee, you're basically just admitting to being a drunk driver. And even though we have no idea if there was any alcohol in your system, you controlled the evidence. And I think that's something we need to punish in this country because we can't have people fleeing the scene.
I think that, you know what, Sandra would be a good person to chat with on this.
Is she coming in this week?
We could probably get her in. I think Wednesday, we're eyeing Wednesday to have her on the pod. So maybe we'll ask about that. And Diddy, which we're still getting to on this episode.
Yeah, actually, I do want to get to that sooner than later before I talk about what's happening in New York and on our televisions tonight. Diddy I think a lot of people spent some time this weekend hearing more about it than they probably wanted to because it's all starting to come out now.
Well, I mean, you say that, but we still have no facts. We don't have anything official from the police. But when some certain videos are popping up, that's what makes you question. Some of these videos that are surfacing online, mainly on X, guys, if you're looking to go down the rabbit hole, mainly on X is where you're going to find all this stuff. And some of it, I'll admit, I look at and I'm like, you have no sufficient proof. You can't claim you were at a Diddy party once and saw something and we all believe you. Some people are trying to chase clout, like whatever. All that stuff aside, though, a couple of videos that are going around include one about Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart is in a bathroom, Diddy's bathroom specifically, with people all around him.
Is he covered in cocaine?
There's no cocaine that I can see,
Okay.
but it does look like quite a party. And what's interesting with Kevin Hart is may be completely unrelated, but he shut down all of his restaurants in the States. All of them are done.
Okay.
So anyway, that might not have anything to do with it, but people are trying to tie that in with, is he trying to shut things down because he knows inevitably he's going to be canceled because something's going to come to light about him?
Cash out the assets while it's still worth
Yeah,
something.
We don't know. But I mean, it's not cashed out. They're just closed. So I don't know if there's any truth to that. But I will say people are still talking about Oprah too. Jay-Z, obviously. And Usher was one of the ones that was trending because people took a look at his Twitter and realized he deleted all his tweets. He deleted his Twitter history. And so that was trending throughout the weekend. Now, we need to update that because it is actually X who clarifies, which I like that they do, by the way. Sometimes you'll see a post and you're like, is this true or not? And they'll actually clarify underneath certain posts and give a little disclaimer that says there's no proof about this, or this actually was a true story back in this year and this happened. Whatever. They clarify things, which is good. On some posts regarding Usher, they confirmed actually he was a target of a scam online. And they wanted money. Obviously, they wanted money from him. Clearly, he said no, but the tweets were actually gone and cleared by X as they've worked on this. They're all back now. So there's not necessarily anything to that, just so you know. But boy, oh boy, his name is being brought up. I also want to bring to light Jaguar Wright, who continues to talk. Who the hell is Jaguar Wright? So she, back in the day, actually, you know, it was Roots that really kind of discovered her, if you will, and helped out? 1998. She has hung out with everybody, especially Jay-Z, a lot in the early 2000s, and a lot of other people as well. She's been involved with the Roots from back in the day. And by the way, Questlove is another name that keeps coming up, Scott. Jay-Z, Blackalicious, if you remember them, whatever. But she's seen a lot of things, and she's one of the first people that ever talked. She talked about Diddy before anybody would listen to her, just so you know. So if you want to go way back and see the videos for Jaguar Wright, is her name, go for it. So she does there's definitely something to it. She hung out with them. Whether or not she's telling the truth, we don't know. But here's the most recent interview. I just want to play a bit of this as she chatted with Real Life Productions. This is a YouTube video, and she speaks with them now and again.
Should they speak up now?
I think it's getting a little too late for those who are complicit. For the victims who have been too afraid to come forward because the diddler has been running around with impunity. It's time for all of the victims to come forward. But for the people that have been denying it, you know what? Let's not be coy. You know, I am Jaguar. So let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it a bean. Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Should I keep going?
I mean, you're hitting it on.
Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him. Or for Justin Bieber alone.
Now,
We'll
Carisha,
stop that here for now.
Okay.
But you can go online
So-
and you can see even more.
The Justin Bieber stuff in particular, there's a lot of people online that are very, very concerned that Justin Bieber had something horrible happen to him. And if you think back, there was an era there where Justin Bieber was telling us and nobody was paying attention to him. All these awkward encounters from when he was a cute little kid are starting to show up again online. A great example is Pink. Pink's another one who's been implicated. And Pink, there was a scene where she was presenting Justin Bieber with an award or something like that.
Oh, and extremely inappropriate.
Oh, and there were so many celebrities that were extremely inappropriate with Justin Bieber. What happened to this poor kid when he was trying to get famous and he's being introduced to all these celebrities like Usher and Diddy and people like that, and he's going to parties? What the heck happened to him?
Yeah.
Because he's a different guy now than he was.
So Jaguar Wright, again, I go back to because she was there at the time. So she says what happened was essentially, again, this is from her, but what happened essentially was Diddy was really trying to get in with Justin Bieber and getting good with Justin Bieber and, in other words, bring Justin Bieber to him. He couldn't do it. He failed. But where he failed, Usher prevailed. Usher, as I think everybody knows, everybody thinks Usher is the one that discovered Justin Bieber, but essentially, as she puts it, served Justin Bieber to Diddy on a platter. And there's video, by the way, of the two of them together. I'm going to play this one too because it's relatively quick. This is Diddy and Justin Bieber. And you might find it disturbing knowing that this was a young child. Justin Bieber was an absolute child when Diddy was talking about having Justin at his house.
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
We're going crazy.
Oh my God.
Knowing what we know now, what really happened, So that's, again, one of the many videos that is resurfacing, I should say. It's been out there. It's been out there a long time, and people have flagged this and said, where was Justin Bieber's mom? 48 hours with Diddy? What happened here? And you're absolutely right when you say there was kind of like this turning point with Justin Bieber where he wanted to step away from the spotlight. And we just all assumed it's for obvious reasons. The guy was worth almost $1 billion before he sold. I mean, he still is, but he sold off his rights to his music. And apparently that was basically his cutoff of, I don't want anything to do with Hollywood anymore. I'm selling this. I'm moving on. Anything I do is going to be my own. I have a wife, now has a child, obviously, and wants to get away. Songs like Lonely, go back and listen to Lonely by Justin Bieber. A lot of people believe he was talking about what happened to him at that time in his life. Is he still talking to Usher? A lot of people don't believe he is, and people believe this is why. So Justin isn't talking, and until Justin tells us, I don't know if we'll ever know. Is there evidence of anything that the FBI has? I'm sure they'll reach out to Justin if they find it. So I don't know that either.
Here's my problem with all this is I think that there's a couple of different categories of people here. There are certainly victims, and unfortunately, we may never know the full extent of how many victims have been victimized by this batch in Hollywood here. I'm thinking about the perpetrators, and we know Diddy's one of them. Who else was involved? Are we ever going to get any evidence? And I worry about that. The same people who are in charge of Diddy right now are the same people who were in charge of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, and we all know where that went. We still don't have the little black book of who went to Epstein Island. We don't have anything that I think we as the public have a right to know at this point. And I'm also thinking about those who were complicit, those who knew what was going on and did not say. And I'm wondering, did you not say because you were trying to be part of this club? Or did you not say because you were embarrassed? Were you scared? Were you a victim yourself? Or what happened here? Because there's no shortage of evidence that links a lot of the so-called idols in Hollywood to Diddy's parties. Did they leave? Did they stay and partake? It seems like the freak-offs seem to be like the late-night part of Diddy's parties. Like you could go and show up at 8 o'clock and have some appetizers and drinks and then be on your way. But if you stayed past like 11 or 12, that's when clothes started coming off and really weird stuff started happening. And it isn't just Hollywood. There are politicians. There are billionaires. There are so many people. There are so many people that were linked up with this. And I don't know if we'll ever know the full extent. Like I said, it's the same people that led the Epstein thing. And where did that go? We still don't have any answers. It can't go down like that for this Diddy stuff. This is an opportunity to expose the horrible stuff that's been happening, and I can't say for certain what those horrible things were. But all evidence seems to point to there were children involved.
Yeah.
There were many
Drugs,
people.
many drugs. People being drugged.
People
Yeah.
were trafficked, and it's just
Yeah.
sick what
Yeah.
these people did. And I think they should all go down. And if that means we can't have an American Music Awards because half the people that were nominated are now in jail, so be it. Scrap the whole thing, and let's just get some talented people out there recording music, because the ones, some of them that are involved here are really, really gross. I don't know if we're ever going to get to a point where the victims are going to feel comfortable coming out and saying what happened publicly. Like, are we going to see a day when, pick a random name, Joe Blow from New York, who happened to be at a Diddy party and got trafficked, is he going to go on The View and tell his story?
Yeah,
I don't know if we're ever going to get to
Well,
that.
going back to what Jaguar Wright said, it's true. Like, those who were victimized need to come forward. Apparently, NDAs were signed. So I don't know where it sits in terms of if that's true, that NDAs were signed by the people who could call themselves victims at the end of these parties and essentially paid off to go away and be quiet. The cops are at the tippy top. So I think that you don't need to worry about the NDA at that point, correct? It'd be null and void? Maybe that's also a question for Sandra.
Well, and that's a good question, too. I would think that if you signed an NDA, it would probably be with Diddy or a corporation that Diddy owns or something like that. Diddy ain't enforcing that because Diddy's in jail and he's not getting out. By the way, we did learn a little bit more about the conditions he's in, and this is concerning. He spends 23 hours a day confined to his cell in New York City, and apparently he is monitored around the clock. His lawyer says that's routine for high-profile arrivals. However, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, which has a reputation for its poor conditions, staff misconduct, and rampant violence, says they've increased staff by 20%. They got to protect Diddy. But they still have 157 vacant positions in that jail. They don't seem well staffed enough to be running the type of operation that we need run here to protect these people. Because we do not want anything to happen to Diddy in jail. We want a trial, and let's find out how far this went and who else was involved.
Man, and when you really look at everything like a broader picture of what could be happening and you see the names all together, things get interesting. I mean, even the fact that Ben Affleck, what does Ben Affleck know?
Why did he leave J-Lo so suddenly?
People assume that he knows a lot more, but he actually knew it the first time around. Don't forget, she dated Diddy right before she dated Ben Affleck back in the early 2000s. And Jaguar kind of hints that Ben knows a lot more than he says he is, but he wants to split from her before it really hits the fan. He's not necessarily implicated in what did happen, but he knows about it.
So how powerful are the people that run this? Because, I mean, right now, the illusion is that Diddy is the top of the chain. He was the Epstein of this particular operation for trafficking, racketeering, and stuff like that. Was he, though? I mean, there must be a reason that even though Diddy's in jail and he's probably never, ever going to get out, there must be a reason that people who were victimized or who did know what was going on still aren't talking. Mm-hmm. Are they worried that they're going to be the one who takes out all of Hollywood? Are they worried about their lives? Are they in danger? Like, these are all valid questions that we should be asking.
The silence is a killer from those who were friends with him, from those who were associated with him. And I'm talking about the DJ Khaled's especially. That type. Where are you at? Like, you don't have to say anything legally, but where are you at? Obviously, you're not going to stand up for him at this point because that makes you look bad. But you're not going to say anything at all? Act like you don't know anything at all? The silence is deafening from a lot of those people, for sure.
Think about all the celebrities that got canceled over the years. People were lining up to disavow them and any association they had with them. Somebody did something wrong. Okay, yes, I rolled with that person for a while, but not anymore, and I have nothing to do with them. People were lining up to disavow themselves. I'm not hearing that in this Diddy case, and this is certainly one you would want to distance yourself from. That also kind of leads me to believe that there's a lot more people involved than we know, maybe more than we can even comprehend. Mm-hmm. I mean, some are saying the entire entertainment industry, save a few of them, is completely corrupt, and they're all in on this stuff.
Yeah.
Why was LeBron James running around in a French maid outfit? What was that for?
Yeah, I don't know what the heck that was about. But and on top of that, there was an Instagram live? That video is going around of him as well at the time, talking about how there's no party like a Diddy party, and it was a little mischievous of a laugh between he and Diddy regarding it. I mean, where are you at? And that's just, honestly, these are just a few examples of the ton that you can find online from multiple people that are posting all these things. They've been around for a long time is the frustrating part, right? They've been around a long time. It's like when you know something, but obviously you got to get your ducks in a row. That's what the cops had to do. 50 Cent's quiet, which I think is a good thing. I think that the police are going to work with him on whatever he's captured for his Diddy docuseries for Netflix. I have no doubt in my mind. So I can't wait. I hope more comes to light this week. I hope we don't have to wait too long before we either find out about more arrests, more victims coming forward, make them anonymous, make them feel safe. Let's get these people who need to be behind bars.
If you're someone who knows what happened, but you didn't participate in it, now's the time to come forward. Now's the time to come forward and say, I probably should have said something, but I was afraid, or I didn't know what would happen. I was threatened my career would be gone, or whatever. Now's the time to come forward and tell people you had nothing to do with it. Anybody who doesn't, well, let's see what the evidence says. But there's some really high-profile names on this list. Okay, it's going to come up again this week, guaranteed. So we won't do any more on this. We got to go soon. Okay, got it. We're going to get to the replay of Missed Connections in just a sec. First off, why is the Prime Minister on Stephen Colbert tonight? What is he promoting?
I was wondering the same thing. I have no idea. He just showed up as a guest, so he's going to be on the show tonight. I don't know. I have no answer for you. I was wondering the same thing.
The PM is in New York. He is participating in let me see if I can get this right, the Summit of the Future. And then he's going to stay in New York. Just waiting for the bill to come out, by the way. The hotel bill. It always does, and we always get pissed off to find out he stayed at a 5-star with maid service. He is going to be at the UN General Assembly, which is something that many, many leaders will do. Not all, but many, and the Prime Minister usually goes to that.
RuPaul's on the show tonight, too, by the way.
Trudeau and RuPaul, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the PM is going to be on Colbert tonight. Again, I don't know what he's going to be talking about. That's on Global, though, if you want to watch it. That would help out if you did. I spent the whole weekend trying to follow along with a couple of different controversies, but there's literally so many of them that it's really hard to keep track. In Ottawa, the big concern right now is there's still 12 people that apparently colluded with China to get reelected, and they're doubling down on they're not going to release the names. I don't understand why any of the opposition parties haven't said not a single thing is going to get done in this legislative period. Nothing is going to get passed. Nothing is going to get done. No progress will be made until they name the names. I don't know why they won't name the names. I mean, this should be a no-brainer. If you've got 12 people who we know colluded with China, a foreign power, to get elected in Canada, that's a big problem. We at least need to know the names. But the other thing they keep saying is maybe they've got some different polling than I've seen. Last I checked, 70% of the country is not happy with our current prime minister. Yet the prime minister and all the people that work below him are insisting Canadians don't want an election right now. They're saying Canadians do not want to vote right now. I don't know if that's true or not. I get the impression people do, but that'll come up again later on. Finally, the other thing that came out of this weekend, controversy, was the Toronto District School Board apparently thought it was appropriate to send a bunch of kids on a field trip to a pro-Palestinian rally.
Oh, why? Why would you pick kids to any kind of a rally? Obviously we always want peaceful protesting and things like that, but that sounds like it could be a bad idea.
It's indoctrination. Yeah. I don't think any parent is comfortable with the school choosing how their kid is going to protest and what causes they believe in. Yeah. Some of the kids were even Jewish. Just to add an insult to injury, that actually happened. So there are calls coming from many, many, many for the province to actually take over supervision of Canada's largest school board. The theory being that these people are so incompetent and so misguided that they would send elementary school students to a pro-Palestinian.
Elementary?
They were elementary school
my
students.
God.
They sent them to a pro-Palestinian rally under the guise of it's a field trip. They didn't even ask parents' permission in some cases.
Oh my God, that's not right. I was going to say, well, then where are the parents at with the permission to go? You're supposed to get and you should, and I have, very detailed information. This is where your child will go. These are the activities that your child will be doing. This is the rough time that they'll be there. Then you sign off. What the heck happened there?
Imagine your kid comes home from school and you say, hey, how was your day? What did you do? And your kid tells you, well, we went and learned about colonization and how the Israelis are occupying Gaza and how it's wrong and Israel really needs to be obliterated as a state and free Palestine from the river to the sea. Imagine your kid came home and said that to you and you had no idea that was part of their day today, was attending a political rally.
Heads will roll over this one.
I think they will. And you know what? I mean, normally I'd be one to say, the school boards are set up to run themselves and with basic supervision from the ministry, but school boards can make school board decisions. Not anymore. They probably need to take all decision-making authority away from the TDSB and put them on full supervision, because if that's the kind of decision-making that's happening over there, I don't know that they should be making decisions anymore for people's kids. That's just me, though. You can weigh in on this or anything else by text 1-833-915-7469. Spell show, and you can text us anytime. Tomorrow we are back with another episode. Wednesday, you said Sandra's on?
Sandra will join us, I think, Wednesday. Yep. And then we do have a special guest on Thursday, too.
Oh, really?
An author. The book title caught my attention, and you'll find out why coming up. Right now, a replay of Missed Connections.
Missed Connections. Missed Connections on the Scott and Kat Show.
And a good day to you all. Today, we're going to do Missed Connections. Missed Connections is right from the web. People looking for other people. Now, it usually started with a great story, and that's why we love them. Let's see if we can make a match here.
This one happened at a t-shirt time, so you know it's love.
T-shirt time. I assume this is where you go to get t-shirts made?
You've never been to a t-shirt time before?
No.
It's great. I'm pretty sure what they do a lot of the times is not legal, but they'll put anything on a t-shirt for you.
Really?
Anything, any picture, any image, any logo. It's great.
That's amazing.
I asked you to make a shirt for me. I went to the t-shirt time at the mall, and I knew you were trying to be flirty. Didn't notice you printed your number on the sleeve. It was so small, but it was there. Unfortunately, the shirt was for my girlfriend.
Oh, no.
She figured I was cheating, so she shredded the shirt up and dumped me. But the good news is she's out of the picture. But the thing is, I don't have your number. I went to t-shirt time, but I guess you're a seasonal employee. And they also frowned upon you putting your phone number on my shirt. I don't think you'll be hired back for the holiday season. I'm sorry, but I do know someone who owns a gift shop. If you want me to look into getting you a gig there over Christmas, just hit me up.
Yeah. So you broke all the rules at work. Let me help you find a different job with someone that I know. T-shirt on the sleeve. That's an interesting one. I guess if you work at, no matter how you do it, you got to figure out a way to get them your number. This was just the easiest way. Put it right on the shirt you're making for them.
Back in the day, we used to get a pen and write it on the arm. This one's different. But yeah, they'll frown upon that. That's actually, you're just ruining it for a lot of people if you just put your things all over
Pretty
the stuff
much.
they're buying.
Hey, if the customer didn't ask for it, don't do it.
This next one is called the Grande Crush. Hey, I'm going to shoot my shot here because I'll get in trouble for trying to hit on customers at work. I work at a Starbucks. You're the guy that comes in and orders his daily venti iced Americano, 5 shots decaf with almond milk, extra ice, 8 honey, 7 matcha, double blended, double cupped, and split into 3 tall cups after that.
Get out of here.
Did you catch all that?
They should arrest that person.
A while back, most refused to serve you, but I stepped up to the plate. I didn't mind because I always thought you were quite attractive. The other day, you asked for a banana loaf on the side and made an off joke about me and bananas. It made me see you in a different light.
Oh, sure.
It's one I kind of want to see more of. I hope you crack more banana jokes. Wouldn't mind showing you my cake pop.
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
that
innuendo
escalated.
in there.
That escalated real quick.
Yeah, it did. Hey, what kind of a banana joke works as a pickup line?
I think
I want to peel you. I want more potassium in me.
Want to see something else big and yellow?
You know what we could do with this banana? What was that Starbucks order again? Can you
Oh,
repeat
goodness
just that one
me.
part?
Okay.
What kind of a maniac is this?
A daily venti iced Americano, 5 shots decaf with almond milk, extra ice, 8 honey, 7 matcha, double blended, double cupped, and then split into 3 tall cups.
Why on earth would you get 5 shots of decaf added to your Americano?
I don't know.
What's going on here?
This banana loving guy, I'm telling you, steer clear. If I got the chance to speak to this person who posted that, I'd say, red flag, lady, red flag.
Yeah, what do you see here? Get out of there. Move on. This should be an easy one.
Do not approach. Do not approach. Make the drink. Don't say a word. Smile. Pass the drink and the loaf. Move along.
You know what's sexy about you and bananas?
You know what else? You know what else goes with monkeys? I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's all just very gross.
The whole thing is, good luck to them.
I don't think we need to wish them any luck.
I hope you guys
never
don't get
find-
together.
Yeah, I hope that he stops coming to your Starbucks location. It's for the best for yourself.
Anybody who orders that shouldn't be allowed in anymore anyway.
Totally agree.
5 decaf shots into an Americano.
Get out of here.